ChidaByte number 3, the Parnell effect. So when I was in year 4, I had a great teacher named Mr. Parnell, and this is year 4. He's your teacher of everything. He's your math, science, everything. And I remember one day we had a parent-teacher interviews, and I sat down, and my mom comes and sits down, and that's how we used to do it. The teacher used to sit here, and then my mom's used to sit with me over there as well. And Mr. Parnell, he told my mom, and I remember this, I never forgot this. And I was sitting there, and Mr. Parnell tells my mom, he says, look, Anzar's excellent. You know that. But there's something holding him back. When I give him a question that he gets it, he knows it, he can feel like he's getting there, he wants to do 100 of them. But if I give him a question that threatens him, that he feels like this is hard, I don't really know what's going on here, then he only wants to do 1 or 2. And what he said is, I need Anzar to be the other way around. I need him that when he knows it and he's ready to go, after 2 or 3 he's bored, he doesn't want to do it anymore. And when he doesn't get it, and when he's threatened, and when the stuff is hard, he wants to do 100 of them. And I'm sitting there as a year 4 student, and I never forgot that, and I never stopped doing that. If you don't work on what you suck at, you're never gonna reach anywhere near your potential. Let me give it to you by a sports analogy. If you're playing rugby and you're excellent at attack, what does your coach have you work on? Defense. Your coach makes you work on your defense, right? To have a full round game. It has to be that way around. Otherwise, you become like Conrad Harrell, who's one of the great rugby league players I've ever seen in my life offensively, and he doesn't make first grade, or he hardly makes first grade. Why? Because when he was young, his coach just kept him on offense, and his defense is turnstile defense, right? So when you're good at something, don't work too hard on that, because you're only going to get a little bit better. You're already really good at that facet. You're only going to get a little bit better. But whatever you suck at, whatever you're weak at, that should be your focus. No one should see your weaknesses. As a person, I work, and I'll tell you, I don't want no one to see my weaknesses. I'm really badly organized. My stats knowledge, by the grace of God, is very good. And these kind of things, my ability to relate to students, I've been blessed with those abilities. But I'm completely disorganized. I've always been a very disorganized person. But my boss doesn't know it. Don't tell her. My boss doesn't know it. And that's why I'm teacher in charge of stats. And I'm teacher in charge of scholarship stats. And I'm teacher, I have the mirror thing. All of this is because I have worked incredibly hard to make sure no one knows my weakness. Because people won't give me those jobs. Or they'll think 100 times before giving me those jobs if they knew. But none of them know. If you ask them, that wouldn't be at the top of my list. That, oh yeah, he's really disorganized. They won't know. Because I have worked so friggin' hard at that. And I've done this why you have to be serious, right? So another example is when I got to uni. In high school, that you have to learn like 3 or 4 formulas before you sit an exam. Most of them are given to you on a sheet, but in uni they don't give you any of the formulas. They just make you learn all of them. So I'm sitting there, and there's 40 formulas, and we're talking long ones, double angle, all this kind of stuff. I have to learn them. No one's gonna give them to me on a piece of paper. It's really daunting, and my memory is not good. Right? I would have gone with chemistry. I loved chemistry, but learning all those chemical names wasn't my thing. In maths, you only learn a very little, few formulas, and you can do so much. You don't have to actually memorize that much in maths. But in uni, I had to memorize a bit, 40 formulas. It's better than chemistry, but it's still a lot, right? So now I'm like, oh man, that's my weakness, right? That's gotta be my focus. So my first year of math, I didn't worry too much about completing that stuff happens anyway. I'm like good at maths. That's what I do anyway. I got A's anyway. But what I had to do was work on this weakness, because I knew in university the exam is a big chunk of your final grade. Assignments were great. I was getting A's, but I didn't want to lose that A because I did badly in the exam. So I went on Google advanced search. No, sorry, Google Scholar search, right? This is actual reports, actual research, not like websites, which, if you Google on a website, what do you do for memory? One guy says another one thing, and another says another thing, and you decide based on the color scheme. No, I do it based on evidence, right? So I looked up and I found some people who've researched this. Almost all weaknesses people have. People have researched methods of getting that better, and I looked it up. Through education research, how do you help students fix their memory or learn things, memorize things? And I found a few of them, but one of them really worked for me. I'm not going to go through it in too much detail, but I still teach it to my students. When I want them to memorize some formula, I still go through that method. And it's worked for me ever since. I never had any problems in exams remembering all 40 very long formulas, sometimes 50 very long formulas. Never had a problem, even though my memory is terrible, right? So I it's not like I'm just saying it and it's in my head and I don't do it. I do this. When I find a weakness in myself, I want to do 100 questions, right? I know I can't memorize. That's going to be my biggest thing this semester. In university, I'm going to learn a way of memorizing. That's my biggest focus. I reckon if no one can see your weaknesses, you're just going to go further, right? You become that well-rounded player, that even if you're not that talented and even if you're not that skilled, you're just well-rounded. You can do a little bit of offense, a little bit of defense. You make first grade, even though you're not that talented. And if you are talented, you become a superstar. Conrad Harrell was going to be a superstar. He was one of the great things we had ever seen, but hardly making first grade. The Parnell, anyway. So this is the Parnell effect, and I hope it can encourage you to work on externals, the ones that you suck at. Sorry to use that word. The ones, your weaknesses. Find the externals you're weak at, and from the beginning of term 3. Till week 7, which is the week before exams, I want you to set up a routine where you are working on your weakest externals, your weakest. I can even make a revision timetable from you. If you look in the description of the YouTube thing, there will be a link and when you click on the link, you will download an Excel sheet. When you go on that Excel sheet, all you have to do is fill in a few things, and it'll make a schedule for you, and you can do maybe 15 minutes a day or 20 minutes a day, whatever. It'll make a schedule for you. I made that Excel sheet just for you guys. It'll make a schedule for you. Just choose somewhere between 3 to 5, maximum 7 externals, the ones that you're weak at, and study for them from now. The ones you're good at, leave it to later. You can sort that out and say week 4 or week 5 or something like that. But the ones you're weak at, beginning of term 3, hit it every day, and I'm telling you, you're going to be really happy with your results.